Steam locomotives were some of the most powerful machines ever built. They pulled trains that fueled our imagination. They represented vision, collaboration, ingenuity, customer service, and extraordinary human achievement. But in order to get to their destination, it took someone guiding them through a series of switches in order to get to the main line. Just like leaders today, it takes someone directing them down the right path in order to get to their destination. Welcome to Mainline Executive Coaching ACT, which stands for and Cultural Transformation, hosted by Master Certified Intelligent Leadership Executive Coaches Maikel Bailey and Rich Barron, with over 50 years of successful cultural transformation and quantum leadership development between them. Brought to you by Intelligent Leadership Executive Coaching, the world's foremost authority on cultural transformation and intelligent leadership development. Once again, thanks for joining us and enjoy today's show.
We are here, Mainline Executive Coaching, ACT, Rich Barron, my partner. I'm Maikel Bailey. And we are taking on a real interesting thing today for leaders. This thing about imposter syndrome and all this stuff. There's a lot of gook out there. I mean, it really is crazy talk. And we want to cut through some of that. And here's the position that we're talking about here today, folks. The idea is this: you have to, in order to really embrace the power, your authentic power as a leader, you must let go of your faux leadership identity.
Yes.
In other words, you got to give up the idea if you can fake it till you make it or whatever thing that's going on in order to find out who you really are and where your real talent, real potential, real power reside, and then how to develop that. So let's start there, Rich. What are your thoughts on this notion of you got to let it go before you can get real?
I agree. We can call this several different things. What, the overconfidence effect, impostorism, the imposter syndrome,
the underconfidence effect,
the overconfidence effect. All of these things, simply being a BS artist. I don't know what you want to call it, but the simple fact is, you cannot fake it until you make it in certain aspects, and leadership is one of them. Eventually, they're going to see through you. The people you work with are going to see through you. The people that you lead are going to see through you. And it's important to be able to understand that the full leadership, the fake leadership thing just simply doesn't cut it. And especially in today's business world, Maikel, the pandemic changed everything. It really did. Business has changed. Organizations have changed. And in order to really be successful going forward, you got to have some legitimate skills, some legitimate talents. And anymore, those simply based on your title or that corner office or what you may know about your job per se is not leadership. That's not the leadership skills we're talking about.
Yeah, that's just positional leadership.
Yes.
Corner office, name on the door, parking space. That's just positional stuff. Ultimately, it means nothing.
No, it means nothing. And guess what? The next guy who comes along, maybe who has those skills and talents, is going to get that corner office and that parking place simply because they may have put the time to it to truly develop those skills and talents that organizations are desperately in need of now.
Yeah, and the whole thing about it, when you aren't really sure, when you're not really confident in your own leadership abilities and skills and character and all that kind of stuff, the tendency is to want to hurry up. I got to hurry up. I got to hurry up and cover it up. I got to hurry up and catch up. And that's just exactly the opposite thing to do. What we find in working with leaders and training leaders is there's that sense, I got to hurry up. I got to hurry up. I got so much to do. No, that's actually a sure sign of failure. That's you're playing the game of, not to lose is what's really going on here. And right. So the real necessity is, in fact, you do just the opposite. You got to slow it down. If you don't know something, you got to slow it down so that you can learn. You don't just step into a recording studio with a guitar that you have never played before and suddenly start sounding like Jimi Hendrix. That's not going to happen.
No.
Never in a billion years, And so the whole deal here is really this. how do you do that? How do you really come to grips with who you are as a leader, so you can stop faking it, stop worrying that they're going to discover you, they're going to find you out and uncover you. And the only way to do that is at some point just simply say, I got to learn how to do this, and I got to learn how to do it well, and I got to do it in a way that's authentic to me. Once that you open that door, I mean, you really open that door, that door really opens up wide. And suddenly there's a whole lot more potential and possibilities, frankly, than you ever dreamed were even there.
No, absolutely. I think a lot of this, Maikel, goes back to that, old adage, the wise man built his house upon a rock, right? What is your foundation? What is your leadership foundation? Do you truly know what your skills and talents are, what your gaps are, what your abilities are, and how to improve those? Having a foundation and being open to that foundation and being humble and vulnerable and opening yourself up to truly understanding, what are my beliefs? What are my core beliefs? How do I find out who I am as a leader? Is essentially the first step in getting rid of this imposter syndrome, that impostorism. And, there's a lot of fear around that impostorism. There really is. People that are in these positions that don't have these skills, who haven't taken the time to develop those skills or to understand those skills, or their foundation. You see it in leadership turnover today. Guys, guys and gals, leaders of everywhere, just simply burning out, or worse, getting themselves in a situation where that imposter syndrome suddenly comes to light for them, and they just flame out. That's an even worse place to be, because now you've been found out, and guess what? No one's going to believe you going forward.
Yeah, once you have that experience of flaming out, sometimes it can be very, very difficult to recover from that. It's a real hit on the ego. It's a real hit on your, some of your core feelings or hopeful feelings that you have about yourself, aspirations. It can really knock you for a loop. And recovery, coming out of that stuff, requires some real skill, some real,
Yes.
Putting it back together, but this time really putting it together the way that you work rather than the way you think it should work. Those are completely different things, because otherwise you just keep faking it and limping along, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. When it really comes down to it, I got a question for you leaders. Why do you think you are in the leadership position that you are in? Why did they pick you? I'm going to take a look at three things. When it comes to being able to drive results, which means really drive processes, not people,
Yep.
what is it about you what's the skill that you bring to drive results? Number two, what is it about you in your ability to relate to people, communicate to people, to help build them up? What is it that you have in terms of that? And the third thing I would say is, what is your ability to really solve problems, put together plans of action, and make things happen, whether it's, in a kind of standard procedural way, or thinking outside the box, creative thinking, innovative thinking.
Yep.
When you address those three things, leaders, and I would invite you to seriously consider them, write down your answers, see if you've got good answers, and go around and ask your peers, people that maybe in your team, what do you think you think that I bring to the team here that's helpful to you in terms of these three different areas? Maybe even talk to your supervisor, other people that you have direct reports to, whether you may have one, you may have a couple, but ask them, say, let me just, so I'm clear about this. Now, this is going to take some vulnerability,
Yes.
but ironically, and if they ask you this, I'm just curious. I'm a person that's curious. I want to know what strengths that I have so I can build them up. Maybe I've got some gaps or some derailers, man, I'm going to tackle them. You don't go in there apologetically about it. You go in there assertively. You go in there with some real confidence. I'm going to handle this. I'm going to make this even better. Whatever it is, whatever the word is, what I find out, I'm going to take it. I'm going to improve it, so that you're coming from a very proactive place rather than a defensive, I don't know, I'm not sure. See, the moment you take that proactive stance, and that's a moment when you're starting to have some real confidence, and you go and ask those questions. See, you start moving out of that faux leadership, that imposter syndrome. You're actually owning up to it, and you're backing it up with, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to make this the best thing that I can possibly make as a leader in this position. I'm going to make it great for everybody else. See, it's the affirmations that come back when you followed up with those kind of inquiries. Yeah, this is going to be great. This is going to be better for everybody because I know this and I'm going to do something about it so that everybody is better off. Why don't you do that? That'd be my challenge to you. Go find out for yourself. Ask some other people, get some inputs. Of course, we do it on a more formal level, right, Rich? We do a 360 with them.
Absolutely.
And that's down the line. But sometimes you got to put your toe in the water.
Yeah, you've got to check out the temperature there, right?
Before you go find out, oh brother, this is awful.
Yeah.
Even though I tell you what, I tell you, the best leaders, they're the ones that can get the worst news and still turn it around. They'll figure out a way how to turn it around. Some way they will figure it out and get people involved, get people committed, get people working, re-inspire the people. No matter how terrible it is, they can do tremendous things. Why? Because what you just said, Rich, they have the skills, they have the know-how, and they have that belief inside of them, and they have the character to make that happen. It all implodes because we don't have the character, we don't have the beliefs. A whole bunch of stuff just starts imploding in your leadership, and all of a sudden it's just crumbling rather than growing. So Rich, we're going to wrap this up here. What are your words of wisdom on this, my friend? Enlighten us and lift us.
I think for leaders out there, leaders at all levels, but I'm talking to you leaders who are the young emerging leaders right now. Okay, 26, 30 years old, 30s, whatever that may be. If you're just starting out in a leadership position, do yourself a favor. Get yourself a coach. Take some leadership development courses. And when I say not just a course, I don't mean just read a book. I don't just mean go to a seminar. I mean, get with an actual coach, someone that can really guide you down that right path and help you develop these skills. So you don't get in a position, 10 years from now with no true leadership abilities. You may know your job, and that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking true leadership abilities, where you're going to get yourself in a position where you're just going to burn out. And we see that so often. Do yourself a favor. Contact us. Contact a coach, but contact myself, contact Maikel, Executive Leaders Act, ILEC.com. We got some simple tools that will change your view on your leadership abilities, change your view on how you need to direct yourself, build that confidence. And after all, what do leaders truly want? They want that confidence, right? They want that confidence to be able to lead. Organizations want confident leaders. People who follow other people want confident leaders.
Yep. And notice what we have here. We've added our email addresses here at the bottom left of the corner of each of our images here.
Yeah.
And that's to make it easier. So you don't have to listen to us say, here's what it is. You can actually look at it.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of long, and write it down. Then, drop us a line. What do you like about these podcasts? What would you like to see us talk about? What would be important to you? What would be something that you'd find like that'd be really relevant to me? Some of this stuff is, it's like, okay, maybe one of these days I'll use this stuff, right? We don't know what you're looking for. We don't know. We're just kind of putting stuff together here. On the other hand, there might be stuff, this is what I need now. If you talked about this, that would be meaningful. That would be powerful. We're open to it. Let us hear.
Absolutely. Any shout outs for today?
Yeah, there are some people in Los Angeles that are viewing us. So LA, I grew up in LA. You know that? I grew up in the northern end of LA. I was a Valley boy way back in the day.
Valley boy?
I was a Valley boy. I didn't know. I was too valleyed out that I didn't recognize I'm a Valley boy, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a long time ago. Anyway, Thank you for watching. Thank you for spreading the word. Continue to spread the word. And let's wrap it here then.
Absolutely.
I think the whole of this, do we want to put up our little banner that says, here it is?
I'll put this on, I'll put it on the podcast on, the video that we got. We're going to release a video of this. We have a YouTube channel as well, Mainline Leaders Act, ILEC. Look us up on our YouTube channel. We got all these videos out there, and on the podcast, anywhere you get your podcast at, you can find us.
All right. So, just remember, leadership is not a joke, which means don't be a joke in your leadership.
There you go. Yep. All right. We need great leaders. I'm hoping you're going to be the next great leader we get to talk to. So take care, and we'll catch you again next time.
All right. All the best to you.
With all of the issues facing organizations today, leadership development and cultural transformation are needed more than ever. Go to our website, Executive Leaders Act, ILEC.com. Book some time with us. Let's sit down and talk and get you on the path to success. This podcast was brought to you by Intelligent Leadership Executive Coaching, ILEC, the world's foremost authority on leadership development and cultural transformation. Once again, for Mainline Executive Coaching ACT, this is Rich Barron and Maikel Bailey.